hello everybody, welcome to the draw for the official now Super League Invitational Winter Season 2025. I'm joined by the man himself, the first winner of the Blood Bowl Super League back in Blood Bowl 2 days. Hello Purple Chest.
Hello Jimmy, thrilled and vaguely insulted to be here, talking about the other people let into your league when I'm not. But yeah, what a list of names.
Yeah, it's incredible list of names. You can see how now it used to be that I just invited people who I knew, etc., etc. People who I knew were really good, big names. We were just talking about it on the stream. This season, because it's got the official status, we have to be seen to be completely fair. So everything is completely done by qualification. So you can see lots of people have qualified for their place at the World Cup. And Chalice runners-up, Lit Chalice winners, ladder winners. Some of these qualified in multiple ways, right? So Spartacus was also fifth in the World Cup. Diomed also won ladder, also won Chalice. So incredible list of accolades. As you can see,
I think it's very hard to argue with any of the names that are there. You might argue there might be some others included, but other than that, you can't look at any one of those and throw an easy rock at them. They're all extremely qualified, very, very good, very well-known coaches.
Yeah. And shall we look at the teams first, or shall we go straight to the picking the teams? We'll go straight to picking the teams, eh?
Yeah.
That seems a good idea.
Seems a quicker way through, as we're then going to look at pairings and things, I'd have thought.
Yeah, right. So these are all the 12 teams. They're all in. Let's spin the wheel and see what happens. This is Group A. The first person in Group A.
Glorious. No, I won't give in until I'm victorious.
With his lizard
and
man.
I will defend. I will defend.
So I can
Wheeler Y, Wheeler H.
Thank you very much. So we've got Spartacus as the first person drawn out of the hat. Lizardman. He did
very well-known coach. Absolutely, yeah.
His team name is hilarious, by the way. We'll get to that later, but very good team name. Now we'll do first one from Group B, right? And then we'll go alternate Group A and B. And we shall see who comes out. I imagine all the Wood Elves would like to be in Spartacus's Group A.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh. I got so close. And there we go. We get a Wood Elf. Not in with...
Yes, but Wenteros's Wood Elves will not be in with those lizards. Wenteros, of course, mainly came to wider acclaim and attention in the Blood Bowl World Cup, Blood Bowl 3 run, but very well known from his league play across multiple leagues.
Yes, top performance there. Wow, so now we go back into Group A for the next competitor. Ooh. It's so close. It's Olivier Dulac.
Wow. Well, I mean, talking about lizards and what they don't want to see, it's the top-rated NAF player in the world, and it's Wood Elves. So when it's the top NAF-rated player in the world coaching Wood Elves, you've got to think that wasn't what they were putting on their Christmas list to Santa.
No, Spartacus might be a little bit disappointed with that one. Right, let's see who joins Wenteros in Group B. Ooh. Seabros.
Yes, the tiny Danish coach, very well known across all forms of Blood Bowl, from Blood Bowl 2, Blood Bowl 3, and tabletop, with a track record of success, and a very, very cute tiny baby.
Also, he's using. Not only is he using Dark Elves. This is the Dark Elf team that he won Super League with. He won Season 5 of Super League. So that's pretty impressive, isn't it?
If you say so, Jimmy.
I do. Right.
I wasn't there.
Group A. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's me.
And it is Jacques Fantastique, French coach, playing Le Elves Noir.
Oui.
As always, with a build that he's settled on after stealing 5 other people's builds and testing them all.
I have done a lot of testing. I'm not the problem with this is I'll tell you straight out. I want to play Necromantic in this competition. The problem is I'm not a Necromantic expert, and Andy Devo and Diomed are Necromantic experts. So I feel like I just haven't got an angle to beat them if I'm in a mirror with them. So
I think that's pretty sound thinking. Yeah, there's 2 absolutely expert Necro coaches here. Necro do build very well in this rule set, but yes, do you want to be someone who's definitely not as good as 2 other people?
Not really. Let's see who's in Group B. It's Arzawain, and Arzawain might be falling into that category because he has gone with a Diomed build for Necromantic.
Well, I mean, I like the Diomed build, but what I would say about it is it does require absolute expertise to just corral that single wolf well, and really get the work done. And not if he gets lost, of course, real problems for that roster.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how somebody other than Diomed plays it.
Really is, yeah.
Right, Group A. Oh God, some real big names left in. Oh!
Just into Bright Undead there.
It was nearly the world champion himself, but it's not. It's Bright, who, funnily enough, got eliminated by Andre in the World Cup.
I mean, there's never a bad time to take Undead. They're always strong. They're always going to give everybody problems. So no one's going to want to see that there. But looking at, Wood Elves, Lizards, Dark Elves, I think Undead are going to feel quite happy with that as a nice mix. Nothing there they're too terrified of. Nothing there that they can't have a go at.
Yeah. Right. Group B.
Oh, there he is. Possibly the moral winner of the Blood Bowl 3 World Cup. Certainly the more noise seemed to be talked about Diomed's Necromantic than Andre with his legendary Nob win, but then Nobs, of course, ROP.
Yeah, we all expected Andre.
So a lot of it was put down to that.
Yeah, we had to keep saying that Nobs had no chance because we all knew the truth that Nobs are OP. Well, there you go. Diomed's in Group B. I can't say I'm unhappy about dodging Diomed. Right, Group A. Ooh.
Circles Orcs. Now, Orcs very much have gone out of flavour in the last couple of years, to the point where you're going to some tournaments and hardly seeing, the 20, maybe even 25% only Orcs.
Wow.
But they're still strong.
Yeah, and he's gone all block on his team, which is going to be good for him versus myself and Olivier, but maybe not so good versus Brighton Spartacus. That'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yes, it's definitely one of those races that does have some bad matchups in that group.
Yeah. Oh my God, the 3 that are left: Devo, Andre, and K-Fog. Flip me. Let's see.
Which one do you want in with you, Jimmy?
Oh God, none of them.
Was it Andy Devo's Necromantic?
No, it wasn't. It's Andy Devo's Necromantic. So it's Andy Devo is in with Diomed in the other group. Phew.
Didn't we also put the
Arzawain,
the third Necro in there? So it's a 50% Necro group you've built with Group B.
Wow.
Definitely not rigged. No one would do that.
Wow. Well, Group A, I'll be honest with you. Even though Andre's the world champion, I'm taking Andre over K-Fog in my group. Let's see if I get my wish.
So the world champion or the man you consider the best Blood Bowl player alive? Let's see.
Oh.
I've got good news for you. It's only the world champion in Blood Bowl 3 that's dropping into your group.
Glorious. I'm honestly, I'm so sad that he's not taking Imperial Nobility. I'm actually so sad.
Well, Andre's a very interesting coach. I wouldn't nail him down on any one particular race, and I think that's what he's turning into a bit of his USP. Is he's really got the ability to look at Blood Bowl in the way that, I mean, K-Fog does, but he rules out anything that isn't Tier 1. Where the teams are all the same. The question is, which numbers does this one have? But he doesn't necessarily look at one race and see a different race. He just sees a different bunch of numbers. It's all the same Blood Bowl. So it'd be really interesting what he does with the humans. Yeah.
I wonder who the last person's going to be.
I'm hoping it lands on the line and the computer's very confused. It nearly did.
It was close. Oh, it's K-Fog. What a surprise. We had to do it.
Yeah, so Kua drops into the last group with Andy, Diomed, Arzavain, Seabros, and Wenteros. Let's hope his anti-necromantic game is on point.
Yeah, wow. So there you go. They are the groups. I shall have to keep this open as I look at the teams. Yes, we'll go into the teams. And
yeah, I mean, just very quickly based on that before we look at the specific teams. So in Group B, you've got 2 Wood Elves and a Dark Elf versus 3 Necromantic. So whilst that's going to be a lot of fairly similar games, we're really going to know from there, aren't we, if these Necromantic builds can stand up to being getting properly elfed by some very good elf coaches.
Yeah.
I don't think that's their ideal choice, is to face lots of elves. I really don't.
It's interesting because I really struggled. I've actually had a practice game versus Diomed, and of course I had 3 games versus Andy, and I really struggled in all 4 of them. But maybe that's just my inexperience. Funnily enough, I'm inexperienced with elves as well. So.
Well, I think what we're going to see there, certainly from Kua, and probably from Seabros as well, and it's always true of the Necromantic, is the Necro will go for some removals, but there's a lot of positional play there. Where every space that you move one to the left or one to the right is going to be absolutely vital. The screening, the movement, the flow around those pitches. A lot of pace, a lot of agility. I think those are going to be some very fast, interesting games. You're not going to see big walls of either smashing into each other. That's just not going to happen. And the elves, of course, trying to tease those flesh golems and those whites out of the way. Wraiths, sorry. And get in at those ghouls. Yeah, there's going to be a really, really interesting Group B. Yeah. Probably one for the purists, because a lot of the games are going to be really similar, and as I said, involve space more than sort of attrition and dead. Group A, much more traditional. You've got some really old-fashioned matchups, don't you?
Yeah, very diverse, isn't it? I think. Is
really interesting.
6 different races.
So that's going to be the one that in terms of the crowd appeal, is probably going to get it, isn't it? You've got humans, you've got orcs, you've got undead in there, you've got dark elves, you've got lizard men, and then you've got 1 set of wood elves only with Olivier. So 6 different races. Some classic matchups that have been up at the top tiers of Blood Bowl, since Blood Bowl's been around, haven't they? So 2 really interesting groups, Jim. Yeah,
I'll be honest, I'm wishing I'd gone Necromantic now. But, look, we'll see. And, it's going to be very interesting. Super interesting. Yeah, I like the dynamic, even though it could be seen as, the mirrors. Some people aren't a fan of that, but, interesting. Right, we can go into the teams now, and I shall keep this up, and we can look at the different things. So Group A, first out, was Spartacus. And his team name, he's nearly listened to Jim. he's gone more block. He swapped his tackle for block. So
what's going to be interesting here is this is legal, although slightly too big, but legal in terms of a skill build for the next Euro Bowl, isn't it? Maxing out at 4 block with the 2 guard. The tradition in England is to throw your hands up in the air and say, "No, this cannot work." So let's see if that's true, because it worked fairly well in the Blood Bowl 3 World Cup, but of course some races weren't present. And I know some Lizard coaches who are still crying about only being allowed 4 blocks. I think 2 guards probably the right choice. I've seen tackle there, I've seen frenzy there. There are some interesting things you can do that give you other options. Now I know that's terrifying to Lizard coaches. They don't want options, they just want to hit things and carry on the skins. But maybe they'll have to learn to do some Blood Bowl, Jim.
Yeah, well, honestly, Spartacus was incredible how well he played. Made use
it really was.
So, that's going to be super interesting, right? Oh, well, and then second, the man himself, the tabletop legend that everybody on tabletop worships a little bit. There's a bit of hero worship, isn't there, tabletop? He's a lovely fella, as well as a great player.
I mean, he's a lovely fellow, whereas, of course, Kor, who was the last champion, isn't. He's a complete dick. So Yeah, it's that he's very accessible. He smiles when he plays. He loves the fact that he's good at Blood Bowl. Very personable. So I think that's it.
And funnily enough, he listened to Jim a bit as well, because I slated his jump up tree throughout the entire tournament, and he has taken jump up off. He's got kick on a catcher and dodge on a lineman is what he's changed from his World Cup build.
Yeah, I hated jump up on that tree. It was interesting, but interesting as in wrong. But I mean, there were some things you could do with it. There always is with any skill. It doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
One of my dwarves has randomly rolled armbar. If something dodges off it and hurts itself, it doesn't mean it was a right thing to do. It's still a terrible skill. Yes. So yeah, this is perhaps a bit more traditional. It's gone with the tree. I think that's in a mixed group. There's going to be games he gets a lot of value out of that, so that's probably okay.
Yeah. The sidestep catches are unusual, aren't they? Normally you see more wrestle and more dodge, but honestly, he used the sidesteps great, right? They were used to protect the sidelines, and also, obviously, it completely prevents the one turn most of the time, doesn't it, with a tree man as well?
Yeah, two side steps and a stand firm end. It's very, very hard to one turn against. It makes your one turning even easier. And as you said, Olivier uses them really creatively in terms of how he screens things. The problem with that, of course, is that you then have a blockless piece doing some screening. And with very low AV+, they are likely to not necessarily last the whole game, but as Resurrection, they will magically come back to life.
Very good point. Yeah, these are all Resurrection games people are using. I should have also said people are using it's the same team building rules from the World Championship that we've just had. That Andy and myself and Miss Feltree were in Montpellier doing the commentary for, and Andrew won, and Diomed was the runner-up. So we're using all of the same rules for the team build, and we're also using the same rules for the playoffs. The semi-finals and final will both be best of the 2+1 format, the Vituk format.
I thought that was pretty interesting, yeah. And avoids the nonsense of overtime and stupid kicks mostly, so that's good.
Yeah. And look, PC, I took 2 Wrestle Witch Elves for you.
Well, good. See, even an old dog can learn new tricks. I think it's right. I get why people... I should probably explain it occasionally. I get why people like a Block Witch. They're much better for surfing. It's much safer to surf with a Block Witch. They're better if you can actually get frenzy hits that aren't frenzy traps. Then it's much better for getting an occasional chip or an occasional removal. But you can do both those things with a Wrestle Witch. It's just ever so slightly more 1-in-9able, which is, not always great to leave that witch on the ground. The good thing with 2 Wrestle Witches is that Wrestle Witches are all about ball sacking. Having 2 means you've got complete field coverage with them. It also means if you send one in and it dies, you've got another. It means you can bother the back of a cage with one and still have one if they break forwards. It's just all sorts of good news. You don't have to be constantly thinking, where's my good witch? Because you have 2 good ones.
Yeah. And the thing that I hated in the World Cup was having 2 rerolls, and I just hated it. It really constricted how I felt I could play. So I really wanted the third. I've gone the third, and we'll see how it works.
The only thing that is I often take a leader runner instead of a dodge runner for a 4th reroll. But then, as other people would say, you tend to use that 4th reroll in dodging your runner away from something. So why not just put dodge there and be able to do it every turn? Exactly. And they've got a point. When you run out of rerolls, the fact that you've now got 6 dodging players is going to be priceless. That means you've still got lots of safe actions most turns.
Yep. So there you go. So that's me. Let's not dwell on me too long. And then we've got Bright here. Yeah. So he used Necromantic.
You hate self-promotion, Jimmy. We all know that.
Yeah. He used Necromantic in the World Cup, but he has switched to Undead.
Yep.
And looks pretty standard, I guess. Pretty standard for Tabletop. Tabletop normally have a tackle white, don't they? But he's gone mighty blow because we don't have Amazons. And then there is the constant question of guard mummies or protected ghouls.
Yeah, there's a lot less stunties. There's a lot less elves around on Blood Bowl 3 because of the meta. And no high elves, obviously. So tackle is a little less indicated than normal, so I think that's fine. 2 of his ghouls have skills, and 2 of them are built wrong. But other than that, it's fine as a roster. Lots of people disagree and put skills on their mummies, and I get it. It's lovely for particularly solidifying, stabilizing, but then when you go forwards, the mummies won't be coming with you. If you're playing anyone half decent, they're going to be isolated or marginalized from the game, and then you're going to regret having skills on them a lot, I think. I know if you start with 4 skilled ghouls, there's usually one on the bench with a skill on it. I don't think that's terrible.
I'll tell you what's interesting though, for the Euro Bowl practice, we've got a bit of Euro squad England practice going on, and Justicium, who is one of PC's tabletop favourites, very
he
very
is
good,
one of my heroes.
Top quality player, and he's gone for the double guard mummies. So
he has, and I mean, it can do work. Of course, it can. You know, they're strength 5. They hit with mighty blow. It gives you an incredible wall to drive behind. But if it goes wrong and you break out, you're definitely leaving them behind. And I think they do good work without the guard. But yeah, like I said, it is one that isn't 100% settled.
Yeah. And one that is, I think, is not taking 0 guard on Orcs, but Circle doesn't care. He's taking the exact same team from the World Cup. 5 blocks and a mighty blow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a lot of block, Jim.
Yeah. It's got a lot of block, hasn't it?
It doesn't fear the 1 in 9, except on the 3 that don't have block. Yeah. I mean, we're not. I think what he's done is read the meta that he's not going to be facing a lot of chaos, a lot of dwarves. There is no Nurgle because no one's quite that insane. There's no Khorne. No one's going to bring Black Orcs, so he doesn't feel he needs the guard to deal with other strong teams. He thinks he's already going to outpower everybody. That was a reasonable gamble until he got dropped in a group with lizards.
yeah, he might struggle in that one. And, it paid off him in the World Cup, right? Because he beat K-Fog. So, having all that block is really good. I personally would like a bit of guard, though.
I mean, this is absolutely a banger's tea party, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a real poverty set of skills for Orcs. They just didn't get much, did they?
No, but it's interesting anyway. So most of these people have used their World Cup teams. 4 out of 5 have, but tragically, Andre has not used his World Cup team. It's not an ability, but almost. I'm so sad that this isn't an ability, but it's humans, and they look reasonable, as humans kind of always do, right? They look good, and then you realise they're going to come down to crucial 3+ rolls a lot.
Yeah. I think it's nice for him to give other people a chance, not bringing knobs.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're humans. Again, not a great package for the humans here. You'd normally hope to see Tackle and Mighty Blow on a single blitzer for the humans. Normally, humans are sort of allowed to sneak 1 stack in. Here, got them, but they're on different blitzers, meaning there's only 2 blitzers with guard, which is a worry to me.
Yeah.
Against the strong teams, even the Orcs without any guard, that's going to struggle to do enough work. It's certainly going to struggle against the Lizardmen. Yes, you're probably looking at the Ogre and thinking that's got guard too. Yes, it does 5 times out of 6, of course. And again, somewhat easy to slightly marginalise. I just didn't think this was a human rule set, and neither did anyone else until Andre did.
Yeah.
So let's see how it goes. But I feel slightly bleak for him, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. Yep. Not what I would have done.
Yeah, I'm not saying if it was right or wrong, but it was definitely wrong.
And funnily enough, because the knobs, I felt the opposite, right? I thought the knobs had a great package, and it was kind of a spot on thing to do. But it would have been great as well to play the world champion team a few times. But he's still the world champion coach. Can't take that away from him. He's a great coach, Andre. Didn't surprise me at all to see Andre in the final. It did.
I think if he can get that team into the top 2 in his group, I think that's going to be a hell of a flex.
Absolutely. And then we've got in the top of Group B. So that's Group A done. Anyway, those are 6 in Group A. Group B, it is Elves versus Wolves. And we're starting with Wenteros with the luckiest woodies ever. This is the absolute kind of bog standard team, isn't it? Well, I say that. The one thing that's different from tabletop is they generally go a tackle dancer, wouldn't they, rather than a frenzy one.
This is one of 2, I would suggest. And then there's the tree question. So the first question is, do you take a tree? And then the second question is, do you stack things onto your catchers, or do you spread things out amongst your elves? This is the fairly classic of spread it out, get some skills everywhere. So you got loads of dodge all over this. Only 2 catchers, of course, but you got 2 dodge linemen who can do very similar jobs. 2 wrestle linemen that can do your sacking, as well as your 2 dancers, as well as your tree. So you're lower on the catchers, but you've just got a Swiss Army knife of little options all over the pitch. Still comes with an apothecary, still comes with 2 rerolls. Only 11 elves, but only 1 comes with no skills at all.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a real nice team. I think this is pretty much the standard, as you say, and unless it was tackle, and again, there's no need to do that, right? With no Amazons, I think no Amazons is a big relieves the need for tackle a lot, right? So it makes sense to go something a bit more subtle like sidestep or frenzy, but stamp your own take on it a little bit. So yeah, pretty cool. And Seabros, surprise, he's Dark Elves, and this is what he won Super League with a couple of seasons ago. Very strong.
Very strong. I mean, he's made a mistake with putting block on one of the witches, but other than that, I do really like it. The problem to me is the problem you found, which is that I think with 11 elves you do need the Apo, and then with this build you are at 2 rerolls. Yeah. So it's built slightly more for containing, slightly more conservative play. Whereas with 3 or 4 rerolls you can be much more aggressive in going for that ball and breaking cages. Here it's all about screening and then maybe sneaking the assassin in or seeing if the witches get a shot. Yeah. It's a lovely build though. Yeah. One of many that is possible as Dark Elves that are viable.
Yeah, I've really struggled to nail down what I think is the best Wood Elf build, but this is definitely contender. Searose is a great coach as well.
Oh, it's right up there. It's a really good build.
Yep. And we've also got...
I think it's also the one PW's using currently on tabletop.
Interesting. Well, now we've got Arzawain. In comes the Necro Army.
Yes.
This is exactly the same as Diamed's build. Literally
nothing to see here.
Yeah. It's the team that beat Andy in the mirror, which was surprising how easily he did it. It was unbelievable. And it's 4 guard, a block, a wrestle ghoul, and 13 players. That helps if there's overtime. And the wolf that you've got to be really careful with, and I think you've really got to play well with this team. And Diamond,
you do, Jim. Well. When it was first put to me, I thought, well, that's an obvious no-brainer. You can survive with just 1 ghoul to carry the ball, but you probably want the 2 wolves. And the more I think about it, the more I think that's entirely wrong-headed. That if you can keep that wolf safe, you can only blitz with 1 wolf a turn anyway, and they move huge amounts, so they can be pretty much anywhere you need it to be. What you get with this is your ghouls, one of them's Blodge, obviously, that can screen space, particularly in a low tackle meta. You get a Rodge, a wrestle piece, so that can go in and sack balls. And they're much better ball carriers because of the lack of frenzy. They're much more controllable. Yeah. So I do think it's the better build of the 2, but I was completely wrong-headed about it when it first was shown.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? And Diamond said, the only chance you'll get to hit with 2 wolves is if your opponent's an idiot, basically.
Wrong, is it?
It's half true, right? Like if you get a bit lucky, then you really get to tee off on them, don't you? That's the thing. Yeah. They don't have to be an idiot. They just have to be down a player or 2, and then all of a sudden the Andy build is all over you, and it's making loads of surfs and loads of hits, and you just get it. Really seals the deal, I think, a lot better than this team does.
Yes, but the question you should really be asking on tabletop, and particularly if you plan to be at the top end of tournaments, the question you need to be asking is not, can I get a landslide with this team? But how does this team win, 81% of its games rather than 75% of its games? What gives me the most on you? And usually it's chipping a couple of pieces to create the space to get your touchdown done. And I'd suggest lots of solidity in 1 wolf can do that. You may not get the landslides, but you're probably going to more often get the mild advantage you actually need to win rather than to destroy.
Well, there you go. We talked about Diamond a bit. This is his build exactly the same as Arzawain's, and this is easier to read than Arzawain's.
Yeah, better organised.
Yes, yeah, he gets a point for that. And we've also talked about Andy's build a bit here, and we can go there. And he's gone the more classic, as you say, the double wolf and no wrestle at all. All 3 of them have got block. Only 12 players. That's all they get. That's like all they do is they swap a wolf for a ghoul and a lineman. If they were swapping for a ghoul and a reroll, then I think there'd be absolutely no choice, right? Like it would easily go to the 1 wolf. But I still think it's very close, surprisingly very close between these 2 builds still.
Hot take. You want me here for controversy? I'm doing the Dimmy G roll. So my hot take is that Andy hasn't learned from experience, as the reasons I've just outlined. Whilst this team can destroy teams, it's going to get less wins in general. 2 wolves are impossible to use. They're really hard to even cage with. They get pulled out of the way very easily. He's got no tackle, no wrestle, and he's got 3 elves in this group. Andy to not qualify and finish bottom. That's my hot take.
Wow.
Yep.
Not qualifying, very possible. I'd be. I mean, as much as we have incredible quality, I'd be very surprised if Andy finished bottom. He's incredible.
No, he loses to all three elves and gets smashed out by at least one of the other Necro teams and finishes bottom of the group.
He's a hell of a Blood Bowl player, but also
He is a hell of a Blood Bowl player. But there you are.
Yeah, someone's got to finish bottom. That's the thing. Like, this is the beauty of the Super League.
Someone's got to. And it's going to be Andy.
When I thought of it, I wanted a league that I could conceivably finish bottom in, and I can finish bottom of this. Andy can finish bottom of this as well. He absolutely can. It's completely possible. I like my Blood Bowl leagues like I like my UKTC teams, and I can be the worst in any of UKTC teams. I've made 2 teams, and I could be the worst on both of them. So, I think that's good. That's what you want. I finished bottom of my group, yes, Seabros. I didn't finish bottom of the whole thing, but I did finish bottom of my group one time, yeah. But I don't think K-Fog will finish bottom of his group. But this is a very interesting build, a super interesting build, isn't it, this one?
Yeah, so he's gone wide as well with the skills, but he has gone for max catchers, no tree. Still gets 3 rerolls because he's sacrificing the tree, still gets the Apo. But yeah, he's got in total 9 dodging players. He's got all 4 catchers, 2 dodging dancers, 3 dodging line elves, 2 wrestle that he's popped in just to give you some chance of hitting something. And then, of course, he's got sidestep on one of his dancers, which is really interesting. Doesn't even feel he needs a tackle. And I don't know all of the things, but I'm presuming that's strip ball on the other.
Yes, yeah. You've got to have a strip ball, haven't you? I think what else? Just literally have to have one strip ball is their skills, and then they can choose something for the other one. Yeah.
My only surprise here, knowing Core, is that he's gone for sidestep on the dancer and not tried a bit of frenzy. He likes a bit of frenzy.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Maybe he was thinking about 1 turns or something, but
maybe he was.
Yeah, who knows? Well, there you go. A super exciting draw and teams and everything. And I mean, I guess we can put back on there. We can look at the schedule. This is the schedule. So I'm starting off against Bright, Spartacus versus Olivier, Sergel versus Andri, Wenteros Seabros, Ours away in Diomed, and Andy versus K-Fog is game in week 1. I think that might be the pick of the round, eh? But great games.
Yeah, great games. I mean, I can only say what I said before we did all this. Group A is going to have some absolute classics, some all-time, Blood Bowl as we've always seen it. 6 top races being coached by top coaches smashing into each other. That's going to be super fun. Group B is going to be incredibly dull for most people, but really, really interesting to the Blood Bowl purists. We're going to watch 2 good necromantic teams and Andy's one play against 3 elves, and we're going to see if they can find a way without a lot of tackle, without a lot of wrestle, to deal with an elf threat. And then that's going to be one for the purists, but really fascinating pair of groups there.
There you go.
And in the first round, I agree. I think Andy versus K-Fog is always going to be an interesting game, but look down that list and tell me one that looks dull.
Exactly, yeah. This is the great thing. This is what the Super League's all about, isn't it? Even every single game is incredible, even though one of them.
No, that was a genuine question. The one that looks dull is Arzavain versus Diomed. It's exactly the same build. It's just literally the exact mirror.
I'm still interested to see like a mere mortal playing against Diomed, right?
Me too, but it's you, me, and about 3 other people.
We have to build IPC.
Sorry, that one's going to be great content. And we'll learn a lot.
I mean, I want to learn how to play. I want to learn how to play Dark Elves, and I want to play the Diomed build. So they're the 2 things that I'm going to try and focus on when it comes to tabletop over this coming year, I guess. So that's going to be This is going to be a super interesting group for me, and a super interesting both of them, one to watch and one to play. So that's it. That's the team. There's all the qualifications, and that's it. Thank you very much, Purple Chess. It's been glorious.
Absolute pleasure.
And thank you, and thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget, leave a like and subscribe, and stay fantastic.